Well, let me start by thanking all of you for gathering here, all the organizers. A special thanks to those who are here to tell their personal stories about how, if the ACA goes away and healthcare costs go through the roof, as they're scheduled to do right now, telling the personal toll of the impact of that, because that is what I think people around the country are recognizing is the human toll of what Republicans and Donald Trump are about to do. And they already began that effort back when they passed what they called their big, beautiful bill, which was really ugly for Americans. It was beautiful if you're a billionaire, but it wasn't beautiful for anybody else. And as part of that bill, as you remember, they cut deeply into Medicaid. They cut deeply into the SNAP program. This is the child nutrition programs and for other food programs. They cut deeply into those to fund tax cuts for their billionaire buddies. And as a result of that bill, it's estimated that 50,000 Americans could die prematurely each year. 50,000 preventable deaths. Except they didn't care about that. What they were focused on was the tax cuts for the billionaires. And so they extended the tax cuts for billionaires permanently in that bill. The one tax cut that they let lapse, was a tax break for middle-class families to better afford health care, that premium tax credit. That's the one tax that they cut that they allowed to lapse. And so they left in place this ticking time bomb on America's health care. And the days go by one, and at the end of the year, because they left that ticking time bomb in place, it's going to explode. And the results are going to be huge increases in healthcare costs for tens and tens of millions of Americans. We know that 20 million Americans will see huge spikes. And when I say huge spikes, we're talking about, in some cases, increases of 2 to 3 times in the premiums. Average premium increases will be around 30%. That is a huge additional cost for families that are already working paycheck to paycheck and struggling to pay their bills. And so what we've said is that we want to reopen the government. I voted 7 times now to reopen the government, but without giving Donald Trump a blank check and to diffuse that ticking time bomb that is going to go off on health care in America, because 4 million of those 20 million Americans will see such big increases that they won't be able to afford any health care. So they will drop out of the system entirely. Except when they drop out and have no health care, what we know is if they have a desperate situation, they couldn't get preventative health care because they don't have health insurance, so they have to wait until a situation becomes desperate. They go to the emergency room and they get treated there, but everybody else helps pick up the bill. So when we talk about the impact on healthcare costs in America from what Republicans are doing, they're pushing up healthcare costs for everybody here, as well as the people on the Affordable Care Act, because this is all interconnected. And again, the theme that runs through this is Donald Trump taking care of his billionaire friends and not caring about health care for Americans. He is focused on $20 billion in bailout for Argentina. He's focused on his new ballroom, taking out the East Wing of the White House and putting up a $300 million or whatever it is ballroom. This is what's on his mind. When Donald Trump promised a golden age for America, he wasn't talking about working Americans. He was talking about the people who were standing and sitting right behind him on Inauguration Day, the richest people in the world. He wants to make them even wealthier at the expense of everybody else. And that's why health care is on the chopping block in the Trump administration and this Republican Congress. But the American people, they are watching and following what's happening. And they are saying loud and clear, they do not want to see their health care costs go through the roof because of all the terrible consequences for them, their families, and their community. So thank you all for being here. as the clock ticks down, as that bomb keeps ticking on our healthcare, we're here to say, turn off that ticking time bomb. Make sure that we extend those tax credits so people can continue to afford healthcare. And then we know we have a lot more reforms that we have to make in our healthcare system. It is far from perfect. It needs to be fixed overall, but the thing we don't want to do is make it worse for tens and tens of millions of Americans. That's why we're here today. Thank you all for being here to say yes to healthcare and no to billionaire tax cuts. Let's get our priorities straight. Thank you.